Raise your hand if you've ever made a mess. In clay, in life, in love, in the microwave. Good, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Art of Mess, Embracing Imperfection. A video about how pottery can help us stop chasing perfection and start celebrating real. As again, I'll be drawing from two books that understand this perfectly: Artful Journey of Pottery and Pottery Florilege. You'll find both linked down in the description if you want to explore them after the video. Let's begin. Part 1. It starts ugly. Most things that turn out beautiful start ugly. Clay? It's basically wet earth. Before it's shaped, it's just a cold lump, sticky, uneven, heavy. There's no elegance in it, no charm, just potential. And yet, this is exactly where every masterpiece begins. Potters know this well. In the earliest steps, nothing looks graceful. You press, you pull, you wobble, you wipe your hands on your shirt. It's awkward, it's messy, but it's real. As expressed in Artful Journey of Pottery, before there is form, there is friction. The clay resists before it learns to respond. That friction isn't failure. It's part of the conversation. The tension, the imbalance, the unpredictability. These are the sparks that start something true. And here's the shift. We're not just talking about pottery. We're talking about you, your habits, your healing, your growth. None of it starts perfectly. You begin clumsy, you lose your balance, you question yourself, and still, you keep your hands on the clay. Because beauty doesn't come from avoiding the mess, it comes from moving through it. By now in the series, we've already explored how imperfection can be freeing, how it teaches us flexibility, softness, and peace. But here's a new layer. Imperfection is also where identity is born. Think about it. Your quirks, your contradictions, your rawness, those are the parts that make your story yours. In pottery, no two hand-formed pieces are ever exactly the same. And that's what makes them valuable. Not despite the irregularities, but because of them. So what if we stopped hiding the ugly parts of our process? What if we stopped editing our stories to sound more polished than they really are? Because no potter expects the first form to be gallery ready. No artist expects the first draft to be the final one. Why should we expect our lives to be any different? Mess isn't something to clean up before we begin. It's where the real beginning lives. So next time you sit with your clay, or your journal, or your feelings, or your fear, remember this. If it looks ugly, you're probably doing it right. You've started. You've entered the real work. And that, in itself, is something beautiful. Part 2. Laughing at the chaos. We don't talk enough about how funny a mess can be. Not just the "I dropped my clay on the floor" kind of funny, but the deeper kind. The ridiculousness of being human, of trying hard, of pretending we're in control when we absolutely are not. Pottery makes this clear in the best ways. You spend 30 minutes perfecting a curve, then sneeze and knock the whole thing sideways. You forget to score your handle and it falls off in the kiln. You grab the wrong glaze and your earthy neutral turns out neon green. And what do? You laugh, not because you don't care, but because you've accepted that chaos is part of the deal. And that's powerful, because when you can laugh in the middle of the mess, you've taken away its power to humiliate you. You're not performing anymore. You're participating. You're playing. This shift, turning frustration into play, is what turns creative work into emotional freedom. And it doesn't just happen at the wheel. In Pottery Florilege, it happens the moment you stop coloring like someone's watching. You pick a color that doesn't make sense. You add a pattern just because it feels good. You go outside the lines on purpose. And something incredible happens. You loosen up. You enjoy yourself. You let the page evolve however it wants, not how it's supposed to. That freedom is the opposite of perfectionism. It's not careless, it's carefree. It's what happens when you decide that the experience matters more than the outcome. In life, we often try to control everything to stay polished, professional, perfectly composed. But sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is let go, make a mess, and laugh a little. That laughter becomes a release valve. It lowers the stakes. It makes space for joy in places you thought needed discipline. So, the next time things go off track, whether it's in your pottery, your coloring, your day, or your emotions, try this. Don't fix it right away. Don't scold yourself. Just take a breath and laugh. Because if you're laughing, you're still in the game, you're still showing up. And that, in its own imperfect way, is a kind of success. Quick reminder, if this message is hitting home like the video, drop a comment and subscribe. I'd love to know, what's the weirdest or most wonderful mess you've made? Share your answer in the comments. Let's continue. Part 3. Control is overrated. If there's one lesson clay keeps teaching, over and over again, it's this. You're not in control, and that's okay. At the wheel, the second you try to dominate the clay, force it, rush it, make it obey your vision exactly, it pushes back. It slips, it wobbles, it reminds you who's really leading the dance. Control feels safe. It gives us the illusion that if we just work hard enough, think clearly enough, do it right enough, we can avoid disappointment, avoid chaos, avoid cracks. But pottery reminds us, real growth begins where control ends. In Artful Journey of Pottery, especially in Chapter 2, there's a strong undercurrent of this idea. One passage gently echoes this truth. The clay asks not for mastery, but for partnership. It moves best when met with openness, not demand. That sentence flips everything. Because it's not about bending the clay to your will. It's about listening, adapting, responding, letting go of what you thought it should be, to discover what it's becoming. And the same is true in life. We cling so tightly to timelines, identities, outcomes, thinking that control equals success. But often, the breakthrough only comes when we release the pressure, when we loosen our grip, when we accept that we might not know the whole picture yet, and that's okay. Pottery Florilege reinforces this in its own way. You start coloring a piece, thinking you'll go with natural tones, and end up blending gold and teal just because it felt good in the moment. You accidentally smudge a line, and instead of fixing it, you turn it into a new pattern. And there's your lesson. Letting go of control creates room for creativity. That doesn't mean being sloppy or careless. It means letting your hands respond to what's unfolding rather than forcing your mind's blueprint onto every detail. So, if you're exhausted by the need to get everything just right, try this. Put your hands on the clay, let go a little, breathe, trust, because sometimes the piece you didn't plan is the one that teaches you the most. Part 4. Growth lives in the mess. Here's something we don't always want to hear, but pottery insists on reminding us. The mess isn't the obstacle, it's the classroom. Growth doesn't happen when everything goes according to plan. It happens in the in-between, the collapsed forms, the crooked lines, the glazes that don't come out how you imagined. It happens when you're tempted to scrap the whole thing, but instead, you stay a little longer. You try again, you adjust, you laugh, you keep going. Because the mess isn't there to shame you, it's there to shape you. We often think that progress is a smooth, upward path. But pottery tells the truth. Progress looks like fingerprints, frustration, half-formed bowls and hands covered in clay. And that's the best part, because you're not pretending anymore, you're participating. That kind of learning where you stay in the studio even when it's not going your way, that's where transformation really happens. It's the same with Pottery Florilege. You sit down to color, not because it will be perfect, but because it's practice. Practice patience in presence, in letting something unfold line by line, shape by shape. And some days, the colors don't feel right. The lines don't cooperate. You go outside the border. It's not what you pictured, and still, you finish the page. That's growth, not because you nailed it, but because you stayed with it. You moved through the awkwardness and found something new on the other side. In the end, every page, every pot, every imperfect attempt becomes a record, not of what you created, but of what you were becoming while creating it. So, the next time something falls apart, or if your life feels messy right now, remember, you're just sculpting a better version of the story. It means you're shaping something. Conclusion: stay in the mess. Don't rush through it. Don't clean it up too fast, because growth doesn't live at the finish line. It lives here in the clay under your nails, the colors outside the lines, and the quiet courage to keep showing up. I leave you with this last quote from An Artful Journey of Pottery. In clay, as in life, the most honest hands leave the richest traces. If this video made you laugh, reflect, or breathe a little easier, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what mess are you learning to embrace right now? And again, the links to Artful Journey of Pottery and Pottery Florilege are in the description, full of wisdom, humor, and beauty in imperfection. In the next video, we will explore how the potter's wheel can help shape your life. Until next time, stay messy, stay brave, and keep shaping your story. One glorious, crooked piece at a time. Bye.